swagger. Keep your swagger.
Hey, welcome into the Five Hole Fantasy Hockey Podcast. We are your hosts. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I stuttered there. Yeah, we're your hosts, Alan and Jay. If I sound a little off, you'll have to forgive me. I finally acquired the flu that has been going around the house, and I'm playing while injured. So yeah, we are here on a day that is a terrible day for Canada and therefore the world. Canada only walks away with men's hockey with a silver medal this year, Jay.
Yeah, and I guess kudos to the States. Honestly, we were singing praises before. I think they did the double this year, didn't they? They won the women and
Men's
they
and
won the
women's,
men.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That was
kudos.
insane. The goal differential for the women's team, what was it, like 33-2?
It
Like
was crazy.
that women's team was just insanely dominant.
Yeah, I think that women's team, like that goal that Canada scored against them, was like the only goal the U.S. had let in for I don't know how many games in a row.
Yeah.
And then the U.S. tied it heroically, and then also won it overtime. Winning in overtime and 3-on-3 hockey seems to be an American thing, Alan, I guess. But yeah, it was a crazy game. All in all,
Connor Hellebuck, man, like what a
story.
stud.
What
Holy
a stud!
shit.
It was just disgusting levels and amounts of open wide grade A chances, and it was just this man and a door and slamming it in Canada's face over and over.
Yeah, but we are here with part 2 of week 18. I didn't want to make it the shutdown shift, whatever. But anyway, yeah, here with teams and streams with targeting news and updates. But as always, before we get into that, if you haven't already, feel free to follow us on Twitter, slide into our DMs, jump in the Discord. I think we have about 2,800, 3,000 people in there. Just always chatter and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And then a couple of the other resources worth mentioning before we get going. Our playoff primer back in episode 592, still there, still free to anyone who wants to access it. Like we just don't hide things behind paywalls. And then the vibe check episodes, blah blah blah. I definitely have one more in the agenda. Maybe I'll get lucky and get a second one between now and the week when the weekends. But I tried to focus on playoff relevant teams there, but some people just need to check their Twitter DMs because I probably would have had a few more out there, but I just couldn't get a hold of anyone from certain teams. But yeah, moving into storylines and injuries. So not really like a hockey headline, but just a point to bring up. The default Yahoo trade deadline is this Wednesday, the 25th. I believe that just means that both people have to agree on the trade and it's in process like before like 3 a.m. Eastern, something crazy.
Yeah,
But,
it's a deadline for agreement. I don't think it's a deadline for processing.
I think it can still be processing. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Use that leverage to get your trade through, man. Like don't assume you have that just because I play a fantasy hockey person on a podcast. But yeah, I don't this first headline here, I don't think we got to talk about it before it happened, but the Panarin trade. Panarin to LA for scraps essentially as like one prospect and like a pick or something. But I mean that's all you can do when Panarin fully negotiated in good faith that no movement, no trade clause, whatever. You're just kind of at the whim of he only wants to go here, so hey, what are you going to give me for? I remember like the Giroux trade several seasons ago. I was like, that's it. But I mean, that's one of only 2 places you want to go. So yeah, obviously top line, like I assume top line, definitely top power play, but it'll probably be like him and Kempe will probably get like a first shot at like being a duo. Just something I saw on Twitter. I thought was, very interesting. Plays in all this stuff. Panarin's a righty, Kempe is a lefty. and Panarin was quoted as saying that's how he prefers having someone to play off of, play off of there. Sorry. How much does Panarin move the needle for LA though? Kings and Rangers are kind of both bottom of the league in goals and goals for per game. Yeah, and I brought this up in the vibe check with Eddie Garcia's. Rangers 151 goals on the season, Kings 146. Rangers 2.65 goals for per game, Kings 2.61. I mean, and you got Panarin scoring in spite of how bad that Rangers team is. So I don't know. I think since they're not that different, I think Panarin's 90-point pace holds. Or Jay, I don't know. Your thoughts? Like, are we just trying to squeeze what we can out of that low event hockey, or do we think that Panarin could provide like a legitimate bump for the Kings?
Yeah, and I guess we were going to touch on this in the injury news a little later. Probably one of the biggest injury news from the Olympics is probably that the Swiss. I guess is he the best Swiss
Was he
player?
the Swiss team?
Yeah, he's a Swiss team. I'm just trying to remember if he's the best Swiss player now. They have a couple of good guys already, but yeah, Kevin Fiala got. I think like Wilson basically landed on his knee.
I think it was Wilson or Fiala went for like a reverse check or whatever, and it just went horribly wrong. It was a fluke play. Like it wasn't. Yeah, I think a lot of people are quick to Tom Wilson's dirty. Like this is exactly like what he does, but I'm like I think that was just a fluke play, and then just unfortunately, they've lost.
Well, I'd have to dig out exactly what happened, but he was probably the first ever guy I saw stretchered off without even like turned to the back. Like it seemed a really, really dangerous injury. Immediately ruled out for the season. I think it was first like ruled out for the rest of the game, then like tournament, then rest of the NHL season in like short order.
Yeah.
So
there we go. Sorry.
No, yeah, just wondering because this team has such a dearth of scoring that when they brought in Panarin, that was the hope, right? Like looking at that sort of comparable between the Rags and the Kings, with the Kings being notorious for being such a low scoring team, that you bring this bona fide scorer in, and it's like, all right, we're gonna keep this low event hockey, but hopefully buff out our scoring.
See, and
that's gonna be the difference.
That's what, and I think that's what Eddie agreed with me on. It's trying to squeeze as much juice as you can from that low event hockey, hoping it just moves the needle some for you. But yeah, Fiala, like you said, sorry.
No, yeah, and now like with Fiala out, like Fiala previously would have been the guy on that power play one, right? So then now you bring in Panarin, and I'm trying to see who they would have, I guess, replaced. So they had Corey Perry, Kempe, Fiala, and then who was the last guy they had there?
Probably Kuzmenko.
Kuzmenko or something, right? And which would have been amazing if they just slotted in instead of Kuzmenko. Maybe they got in an returning Panarin. Like that's kind of like, oh wow, that's like a solid boost and a solid bump. And then now you basically just swapped in Panarin for Fiala, which I still think on a straight upgrade is probably an upgrade, but it's not as much of a
right. There's still a hole to fill in that team, and we'll see what happens.
And the trade deadline's over. No, so like you're.
But no, March 6th. March 6th.
Trade deadline still got another week and a half.
Yeah. So yeah, Ken Holland's definitely got his job cut out for him. And I mean, there's definitely some names out there, like one, and I mentioned it on the vibe check episode. Patrick Laine, nice guy you could bury in your depth at 5-on-5, and then just run him as a power play specialist. I don't know where he sits as far as like, could he and Panarin, do they play in the same position on the power play? I don't know. But yeah, and then you got other news. Jeff Skinner, yes, that Jeff Skinner, mutually terminated his contract with the Sharks. So it'd be interesting where I imagine someone gives him like a league minimum, and it could be the Kings. But I feel like Ken Holland is probably going to go fishing for like next best available forward. in the next couple weeks here. And then
And I guess
my
just on the Sharks too, right? Like Celebrini truly showed he could hang. So
yeah,
I think that, like, I'm just gonna quickly look at the Sharks here for a sec. Like, is there any extra value to be squeezed from anybody else? Like, I see
I don't think so.
Wenberg.
I think he had already not played in like a month when
Mm.
they terminated his contract, or well, when they mutually terminated the contract.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not interested in him at all from fantasy perspective. Just because even on Edmonton, like he couldn't hang, he couldn't
Hmm.
produce there. But yeah, speaking
Yeah,
of
because who?
Edmonton, oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, who else on the Sharks could I tap into the Celebrini fella? But I guess it's the
I
same
think it's
culprit
Wenberg.
each time,
Yeah,
right? Wenberg, Eklund, Toffoli's still listed out, so I guess that's what, maybe like Graf. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe don't say Graf.
it sounds
Sure.
like
What
he's
is that?
been
52.
practicing. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's gonna get muddy as far as like injuries and stuff the next few days. But
Hmm.
yeah, Paul Coffey returning to run Edmonton's defense. I'm kind of surprised he ever left. Like that seemed a pretty good job, like back-to-back finals appearances, and then he just takes off. But yeah, hopefully this actually makes Jari rosterable. Because yikes.
Hmm.
But yeah, injuries, like we said, Fiala done for the season. Nylander, now we know he's dealing with a groin injury. What can we do here? I don't know. In a keeper league, I feel like you got to just hang on to him. But in a redraft, yikes. Because you're not going to trade
Uh,
for him. I don't think you can trade him out. I feel like you just got to hang tight and keep an eye on the injury updates.
is he confirmed? Because he's not listed on Yahoo or even on Fantrax as anything else. But
Well, it's been like load managed. Like it's
yeah,
yeah, and I wonder if this is one of a few players we'll start to see that the what was it, Elliot Friedman, like it's rumored that there were a lot of players that they were hanging on by a thread to get through the
right.
Olympics, play in the Olympics, and then they may get shut down. So yeah, maybe Nylander is one of them. He comes back and is just immediately shut down for this. I forget how you treat groin injuries. Is that surgery? Or if
I,
is that just like
it's
rehab and you gotta
it's not one of those where it's just like watch TV for like a couple weeks and you feel better. I don't know, like,
yeah,
which
I
sucks.
forget how you deal with that because I remember like
Which
Eric
sucks.
Carlson had one back when he was on the Sharks. I forget what he ended up doing, if that was a surgery or he just had to like be done and rehab it.
Well, it's like flare-ups as well, right? Like, I think, what was it? Knee tendonitis, or there was one of those like itises that
mm,
the only way you can do it is to rest it up, and the only way to, well, it was impossible during a season stretch where they said once you got it, it was pretty much gonna fuck your overall like play style, because you could not do the game in, game out, like every other night sort of play and then simultaneously rest as sufficiently. And there wasn't enough
and I
time in an
think
off season.
that's what we've seen with Nylander this season. It
Well, the
reminds me
risk,
of the Rupe Hintz,
right?
whatever Rupe Hintz had like several seasons ago, where it was just like, all right, yeah, 2
Game
minutes
time
till, is
decision.
he
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
play?
It was insane because people like you and I, Alan, that are like monitoring, like, what is there going to be a red letter beside his
Yeah.
name? Turns out, supposedly, you looked and he played like, I think like 76 or 78 games. Like, he actually played so many, but it just doesn't change the fact that you're like stressing, going like, can you tell me like if you're gonna actually suit up tonight?
And then another Olympic related, Mikko Rantanen did not play in the bronze medal game yesterday with a lower body injury. He is going to be reevaluated when they get back to Dallas, but they do not believe it to be season ending. Thank
Or
goodness.
maybe regular season ending, you think? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Josh Morrissey is a maybe for when games start back up. Pionk is definitely good for Wednesday. So yeah, Jay, there we go, Jay. Just what we were talking about before the show. Yeah, if Morrissey is out for any length of time, I do, especially this week. I think Pionk is, if he's available in your leagues, is probably his value just shot up a lot.
Who the hell is Justin Krakowian?
Uh,
Krakowian? He's
is that
listed as
some?
line one center for Dallas. Sorry, you mentioned Randons. I was looking into seeing if there was any other value in Dallas. So it looks like it's obviously Rope Ints.
It's probably just guys that haven't gotten back from Italy yet. That's why it's so hard to get updates on all these injuries and like lineup changes, just because again, just like everyone's been out for the month. It feels like winter vacation, spring break, whatever. Now we're just back to business.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of value to be gleaned if Randon's out from the Dallas lineup, though.
Oh God,
like,
no, yeah.
You're looking at Sam Steele and I guess Jamie Benn and Matt Duchene, maybe.
And Duchene. But I would say I would hold off on trying to like pick up whoever might be next up for Rantanen, though. I would hold off. And then Luke Hughes trending in the right direction, as the quote is. Doesn't sound like they've attempted like a contact full practice yet, but supposedly no setbacks, and trying to rehab that shoulder instead of just going in for surgery. And then maybe you remember, Jay, I can't remember what exactly. No, Crosby landed on his leg funny. That's what happened. He was kind of like day to day.
Oh, geez, sorry.
The last
How could I say
rounds.
Fiala? How could I say Fiala when Crosby just got out? Yeah, and that one, Alan, maybe there's going to be huge value there because he wasn't able to play in the Olympics. If it was just something minor, he would have definitely hobbled out for an Olympic gold medal game if he wasn't even able to do that. It looks pretty bad for Pittsburgh's hopes, maybe?
Which sucks because that was Pens were in, if your playoffs are weeks 21 and 23,
they were incredible.
Crosby would have been huge for you to have.
Although, in terms of playoff fantasy value, is this Ben Kindle music, Alan? I don't know. This is
I don't know. I want to say Malkin is just gonna get more ice time there. And I don't think you're gonna be able to just pick him up.
Although Mantha, 36% is probably also a huge value. Just looking around. But aside from that, it's
I don't know if I'd overreact yet to those kinds of injuries. But yeah.
I mean, Crosby's probably gone for the season, right?
You think? None of the indications were that like this was season ending. So I am just playing a let's wait and see. The league I have Crosby in, I also should have Cooley coming back. So it's a lot of like, okay, Fiala's gone, but I have Panarin coming back, and then I have Crosby out for who knows, but I have Cooley coming. I don't know. It's wait and see.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll get into the schedule here. So this week starts on Wednesday, goes Wednesday to Sunday. But the off days are your typical off days. You got Wednesday with 8 games, Friday with 4 games, Sunday with 6 games, and then Thursday, Saturday, your busy days like normal. 22 teams have 3 games here. So it's almost easier to list who doesn't have 3 games. 10 teams have 2 games. It's Boston, Carolina, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Montreal, Nashville, New York Rangers, Ottawa, Vancouver. But the off nights leaders, you got Anaheim, Utah, Vegas, Winnipeg, sit pretty and only having games on those off nights. Streams though, it's tough. Winnipeg, I think, we pointed this out before the break here. Winnipeg has that Pacific road trip. Vancouver, Anaheim, San Jose, definitely some teams that might let some goals in. But they're like goals for per game, like right before the Olympic break, were like below 2. So I don't know, man. Maybe some of these guys come back totally like rejuvenated and stuff, but Winnipeg wouldn't be my first team unless I can get Neil Pionk.
Yeah, I'm trying to piece it out together, Alan. I think the big one is Thursday and Saturday are nuts. I looked through my rosters. I have so many guys on the bench. Like, you think I have installed like a new seat warmer or something. Like, it's nuts. So the big thing I think is just to ensure that there are Wednesday, Friday games. So that's what there's Anaheim, Buffalo. Who else is that? It can't just be Anaheim, Buffalo. Yeah. Okay, so there's the Utah, Vegas,
Yep.
Washington, Winnipeg. So if you got any one of those, how many teams is that? 7 teams? Yeah. If you got any of those 7 teams, maybe I should say it one more time, just for listeners. So look for Anaheim and Buffalo. Anaheim, Buffalo, and then you got Utah, Vegas, Washington, and Winnipeg.
See, my
So if you
only
get any
concern is Buffalo again has that back-to-back against the 2 Florida teams.
right, but they're not getting like you're segueing afterwards. So if you have the ads available, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get the off night. Well, half off. Ugh. Anyways, whatever. You're gonna get the Wednesday and the Friday, and then after you get that, you're gonna try to piggyback off to any back-to-back team, or you're gonna just reassess at that point if this week is even worth chasing, and then segue from there. But the hard guys, like you can't implement any of this unless you already get any of those 6 teams I just mentioned, right? So I'm just looking like when we streamed before, Alan, when you're talking like, oh, actually, you already got some of the teams going. Maybe we'll just roll through some of the teams first.
Yeah. But actually, you know what? We will get to Turner Bree's question. It's a very good question, and we probably should talk about it more than we did. Yeah, Utah. I mean, yeah, we say Krause and McBain before the break. I mean, Barrett Hayton, I guess. My only concern though is if Cooley comes back. I don't know. I could be totally wrong here. I think Schmaltz has been too good at line 1 center. I think Hayton gets the bump down the lineup instead of like moving Schmaltz to wing, and then you got Logan Cooley as your 1C again. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a couple of guys there in Utah, like Vegas. Looks like Riley Smith is line 2 with Marner and Orfeyev now. Yeah, Keegan Kolesar, like nice hits guy. He had like 5 points in 7 games before the break. Barbashev is always out there. Before the break though, he was on a 5-game 6-point streak. I will not pick him up because I feel like whenever I do, that's when he goes completely cold again. So anyone else who wants to pick him up, I have saved you the I've saved you that fate of like getting nothing. So he might actually do something. And then yeah, Florida and Washington, they both kind of avoid one of the busy days. So Florida has a Toronto Buffalo home back-to-back, and then they play the Islanders on Sunday. Yeah, Uvis Balinskis, man. Because there was an update today. Seth Jones might start practicing in a non-contact jersey next week. So yeah, I think might. So I think Balinskis is someone you should actually pick up. 4 power play points in the 5 games before the break, which I mean that's you don't want to rely on those power play points, but he seems to be getting them.
By the way, I am going to say this too, just a throwback, obviously, to our statements about Florida and all that stuff. Like, have a go with Matthew Tkachuk, eh? This guy is a serial winner. What's that now? 2 Stanley Cups in a row and a gold medal. And they must have won something else in between. I don't know. He's like he wins everything. Probably like wins like free poop for his dog or something. I don't even know. Like it's insane. Like this guy is winning everything.
Genetics, man. I think I don't know how much of a winner Keith Tkachuk was as before my time. Fair. And then just go check on Anton Lundell, 41%. He was centering Reinhart and getting power play 1 before the break. I know for a while they were not putting him on power play 1. And then Washington, they play Philly Wednesday, Vegas Friday, Montreal Saturday. PLD, 27%, 2 points in his first game back before the break. I mean, he's line 2, power play 2, but I feel like that line 2 isn't bad with Protas and Tom Wilson. And then Ryan Leonard, 13%. He's the only way you're going to get probably power play 1 on that team. Still giving me hits. I wish his shot rate would come up though. I don't know. I feel like it's got to be somewhere slightly below 2. But yeah, Turner Bree's question here. With Crosby out, because we kind of touched this. Kevin Hayes was on line 1 in practice. I did see that, and I'm like, there's no way that holds. I don't know, man. At first I thought, you just move Malkin up, but I don't know this, and this was in the one vibe check episode. They really seem to like Malkin's chemistry with Chinikov, and I forget who's on the other wing.
Novak.
Was it Novak?
Novak. Yeah, it looks like Novak.
They really like that second line, so I don't think they. Yeah, so this might be Ben Kindle's season. Kevin Hayes is not your 1C. He hasn't been 1C in material in a very long time.
I think
I could see Kindle getting a shot.
Yeah, Ben Kindle's worth the flyer on if he's going to get Rust and Mantha time.
Well, Rust and Raquel.
Or Rust and Raquel. Yeah.
Because Raquel was in the Olympics.
Right. It's because right now Kevin Hayes he's centering line 4, and he's getting 12 minutes a night. I think it'd be a pretty big bump for Kevin Hayes to go from a center 4 that's, killing on the second penalty kill to all of a sudden jump to, C1, PP1. Has Kevin Hayes ever set that up even? Like, I think he's got PP1 at times.
Well, God, what was it in Philly? I think he was like the one like forever ago. And then just a couple of bad trades later, now he's with Pittsburgh. I forget like his history there. But yeah, I would not depend on Kevin Hayes to be the one to sit in 1C. I gotta say they gave it Kindle a shot.
Because I would even say, like, it'd be one thing if he was known as that centerman dot guy, but I don't even think he's that much of a dot guy, is he? Like, he's been out for parts of the season, obviously, as well. Right. But just, like, even if you're looking at his stats, he's getting less than 2 face-offs a night. He's winning less than 2 face-offs a night. Like, it's not as if this guy's going in and, crushing it like a Mika or crushing it like a Trocheck in the dot. So what is he? Anyways, I don't know. I would probably lean on the Ben Kindle setup and hope for better luck there.
Because they even put him up with Crosby at one point, so he can hang with some of these.
And he's already getting power play one. Already getting power play 1 time. So like Ben Kindle is going to be the obvious choice that gets like continuation of the power play 1. And I think if I was to guess for one guy to roll into the slot, so then let's say Crosby's out. So then right now that Pittsburgh power play 1 is what? Rust, Kindle, Malkin, Carlson,
right?
And like, well, obvious names are missing.
And I wonder if it's Mantha or Chinikov that gets moved up.
Yeah,
probably
Mantha is like the obvious name that moves up as opposed to Kevin Hayes. No offense to Kevin Hayes. That's the one that sticks out to me, at least.
Yeah. I think Malkin stays put. They really like that second line. You got to think it's Kindle. I really don't think it's Kevin Hayes. That is a terrible idea.
Not when they're like,
dude's washed.
How many points ahead are they, Alan? Like they have quite a lead, right? They're 7 points. Yeah. No, sorry, 5 points to spare for a playoff spot. They also have the point differential or goal differential against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are the one team, I guess, like sitting out. The Caps, I guess, are also tied with the Blue Jackets sitting out of the playoffs right now. I don't know. Like Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh plays 500 hockey, I think they can do it. They can make it into the playoffs just with 500 hockey, nothing else. So with that in mind, I think they probably still have a roster that could do enough. Like it, Alan.
Yeah, I guess we have to see how many Western Conference teams they play between now and the rest of the season.
Well, I was also saying, like, how insane is it that like every year there's a team that we look at the standings and it's still a goddamn Stuart Skinner being the difference between that team making it in the playoffs or not. And I'm like, this man is always relevant. How does he do this each year, Alan? Oh my goodness.
It's almost like Edmonton's issues aren't just goaltending, but that's just me. But yeah, we'll see what Paul Coffey can do for him. But yeah, look at the goalies. I don't know, Vladar and Askarov are 42%. Philly's got some winnable games this week. Askarov, if your league plays all the way out, probably someone you might want to hold on to. UPL, only 33% owned. I think he's definitely worth the IR stash. He did return to practice last week, so hopefully that means he'd be good to go for when games start back up. And I threw in Anton Forsberg. 17%. Should see one game, maybe two, if they want to roll them out versus Calgary. Hopefully Panarin, makes the difference there. And then, since we won't have a shutdown shift this week, go ahead and queue up next week's schedules. So actually, let me just add this back on the stage, and then I can go to next week. So we got we have one team that has 4 games, 4 off nights, perfect streaming schedule, Detroit. And then you have Anaheim, Carolina, Colorado, Dallas, Toronto, Vancouver, Vegas, 4 games, 3 off nights. If you want to go ahead and just, if you still have ads, I assume most people are still trying to win this week. Yeah, I don't think it's worth trying to punt this early. But worst schedules, Washington only plays Tuesday and Saturday next week.
Yeah, no, I would say the other angle that would be kind of cool is just it depends on how accessible the rest of your weekly lineup is. The March 5th Thursday also only has half the league playing. So go check your lineups and schedules. You could possibly go for a Leafs setup as well. Not that the Leafs have tons of guys. You're basically trying to see at that point.
Right.
See who's the guy that we're trying to target. I just had his name on the top of my. I don't know, 1 sec. So Bobby McMahon. There we go. Yeah, Bobby McMahon, 18%. OEL, 39%. Like some of these guys that are just kind of straggling around, they weren't on the Olympic lineups and people might have forgotten. But if you got a Toronto team, what you could do is you could piggyback off the Monday, Wednesday off night and get the relatively not super heavy Thursday. And then you can get a 3 and 4 and then repivot midway through the week to get an Anaheim or what were the other teams we mentioned? Dallas, Detroit. Just get like that way you get 5 games in 7 nights is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, that's all I had in the script. It's a shorter week, and I don't know. I feel like we went over it kind of before the break there, but yeah, Jay, if we don't have anything else, we'll send it. We'll pack it in.
Oh, 100%. Al, we all woke up early for the Olympics game.
Yeah, we're all tired. And some people might still be day drunk. I don't know. I thought I remember hearing Canada was looking at like changing their like alcohol serving laws.
It was like 6 a.m. or something. It was like disgustingly early for folks to be able to get their booze in time for the game.
That's funny. But we'll pack it in. But yeah, no shutdown shift this week, so we'll see you guys back on Saturday for sit start. Good day, good evening. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Yeah. Good luck, good hockey. We'll pick you up later.